Hello. Um, how's it, Lance? Please tell me if you can hear me. There's a bit of background noise and stuff happening here because I don't know, the market's quiet, so the guys might get noisy. Just let me know if you can hear me. And I'm drinking wine. Yeah. Also, I'm going to be looking up there most of the time because that's where the screen is that I'm actually doing the stuff on. Okay, can you 100%? Okay, cool. Okay, so this is just following on from the conversation that we were having on the little chat group thing now. With regards to how to hedge your portfolio against like a potential crash, okay? So there's something called beta hedging. So what you do is you measure the beta of your portfolio versus the market, okay? And then once you understand what that beta is, you can then set up a hedge using the Aussie future contract or the All Me future contract or whatever the case is. You'll see why I say the mini in a moment. To try and hedge out your portfolio so that if you are long a bunch of stocks and the market crashes, you don't necessarily have to sell them. You can just take a short position to offset the losses, right? So on the spreadsheet here, I'll make it available on I'll send it out on the chat group probably over the weekend. I'll have to polish it up a little bit. But this is an old sheet that I did a couple of years ago. So here what I'm doing is I'm tracking in the first column my profit and loss, the account balance at the end of every day. So it starts off at 100 grand and it sort of goes down 96, 101, 102, and so on. I've got like a couple of hundred sort of data points here where it keeps going down, right? And as my profit and loss is changing, the value of that portfolio is changing every single day. I'm logging those closing values. So it might be a bit of a mission for you to go and find, hundreds of data points worth of stuff, and it's really not. You really sort of got to try and use at least a year's worth of data. So go back and look at your statements, pull reports, whatever. Then in column B, what I'm doing is I'm tracking the all-share index. Now, to be more accurate, you would have to track the top 40 spot market index in order to do it accurately, right? But you basically track the index that you'll be using to hedge against. And this is the daily closing value of that index. This column basically calculates the percentage change on the account every day. So 0.3% down, 0.2, blah, 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 1.6 up, and so on. And this column calculates the percentage change on the index on a daily basis, right? So here I'm basically working out beta. So the formula here is covariance of this C column, essentially the covariance of every one of these individual values here, divided by the variance of D. So every one of these values here. So you're looking at the covariance of these two divided by the variance on the index. Okay, so you're looking for the relationship between these two divided by the index that you're going to be using to do your hedging with, right? And that then spits out the number 0.4. So I know that my beta here for this period, I think it's about 253 days that I'm measuring here. My beta versus the market was 0.44. So it's like, slightly positive, not very highly correlated. And then R squared is just a measure to see how accurate your beta measure is. So that's just a R squared calculation on the two data sets, right? Then here what I've got is a little block where you can now manually do your thing. So if you say your portfolio value is 100,000 Rand, your beta is 0.44, right? And the Aussie is currently trading at 47,090. So there's an old spreadsheet, that's why it's so low. And this is your contract value. So 1 Rand a point is the All Me mini. 10 Rand a point would make it the Aussie, the proper Aussie. And then your target beta being 0, okay? So let's say you've got the 250,000 Rand portfolio. and your target beta is 0 because obviously in a crash you want to make or lose no money, right? So you want your beta to be 0. So in other words, the market's going to fall, your portfolio is going to stay unchanged. So at 10 Rand a point, it shows you have to be on a 250,000 Rand portfolio with a beta of 0.44 and the index value currently at 5416. I need to be short 2.18 contracts, Aussies. Okay, so to hedge my 250,000 Rand portfolio, I can't use an Aussie because it's 10 Rand a point. So I rather use an ALMI at 1 Rand a point, and I have to be short 2.2 contracts. So I can go short 2 ALMI contracts and maybe some top 14 ETF CFD position short. So I want a short exposure, a total of 36,000. That is not updated. I haven't fixed that one. Let me quickly just do that. I just want to quickly type in my formula here. Give me a second, sorry. That equals J12 multiplied by J8 divided by 1,000. Okay, so that's kind of showing me the, I think that's wrong. I think that's 100. So that's showing me okay, well, never mind. I might have screwed the pooch on that one. I just want to see something here quickly. Sorry, this is an old spreadsheet that I am working on. So I've got to fix it. Anyway, so this is supposed to, I'll fix it on the thing once I work on the spreadsheet a bit over the weekend. But this is going to show me the nominal value of the short position that I want. So at the moment it's showing me 1,100 Rand, which is wrong. I have to fix this little formula. But basically that'll show you the value of the short position that you need to have on in order to be able to hedge properly. So in theory, all me short positions is going to be around 100,000. So you're going to need about 110,000 rands worth of. I think that I just need to say divide by 1. Yeah, there we go. So I just had the formula wrong. So I need to be short 110,000 rands worth of exposure to the short side in order to completely neutralize my portfolio. Whatever my portfolio might consist of, different mix of shares. In a crash type scenario. So if you get like a big sell signal on a weekly chart or on a daily chart, you can then constantly track your portfolio. Look, this is not for a trading account. This is for a long-term portfolio of stocks that are in place that you're not going to sell, willy-nilly. You're just going to keep your positions in place, and you can then measure, obviously, how those stocks, trade in accordance to the rest of the market, what the beta is. Once you know what the beta is, you can use the spreadsheet then to work out, if you get a sell signal on the Aussie, how many Aussies do you sell so that if the market comes down, you don't, whatever you lose on your stocks, you're going to make back on your Aussie short position. And that's basically that. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the next few minutes, and I'll be happy to answer them. I hope it makes sense. Let me know if it makes sense. Also, if so, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to settle. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any questions. So I'm gonna turn it off. Thank you guys. Hope it helps. May the force be with you.